morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another day of the ASL. It's Group C. We've got a star-studded lineup, and of course, joining me on the desk today is the one and only Eonzerg. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Hello, everyone. I can't believe it's day 3 already, man.
Yeah, it goes by fast, especially in the round of 24. You've got best of ones all the way through, and we've already had some upsets, but we've also have had some of our heroes make it into the round of 16, with Bisu getting out in first place yesterday. Now, as far as this group goes, this is a pretty star-studded lineup. I mean, we've got Soma, we've got Best, we've got Ample, and then we've got a previous Star League champ in mind to round us out.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is crazy to me that in this group, there is only one champion, but we have probably the best players in the world right now. Probably if you take Best and Soma is top 5 probably, or maybe a top 8.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people would agree that Soma's the go-to guy at the top of the Zerg race. And then there's kind of a lot of contestion between the Protoss players. You got Best, you got Bisu, you've got Mini, you've got a lot of really good Protoss players, but also our 2 Terran representatives here. They're also damn good. Ample's been around for a long time. He goes in and out of ASL. You know, chat was informing me that Ample's improved quite a lot recently, so I'm looking forward to his games. But most of all, I'm looking forward to mine because he's been gone for a while, I think. I think he came back maybe about a year ago. And look at this, he's already in ASL.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I saw mine. I remember his TBC used to be so neat. But you know what's curious about mine, in my opinion? His TBC is that mine is not a super high APM player. He's super effective with his actions, but it's not like this crazy 350 or 400 APM player. But he's very, very solid.
Yeah, he's definitely not somebody like Flash or somebody like Barracks whose APM is off the charts. And that also is reflected in his playstyle. When I think of Mind, I don't think of, hyper aggression, not crazy builds. It's more like controlling the flow of the game, just get into a state that he's really comfortable in, and then just try and take it from there.
Yeah, more like the perfect planning.
Yeah, now he was also on We Made Fox, and back then had players like Nada, TY, the famous player in StarCraft 2, a lot of players that he could learn from, especially Nada, who's a living legend. He's up there with the likes of Flash.
Midas.
Oh, and Midas. I forgot about Midas. Midas also was on We Made Fox at one point, and actually he had a resurgence there. I remember that. I think when StarCraft was ending, actually Midas was nearing the top of the Terran race. I remember maybe he wasn't the first one to come up with the mech switch, but he was definitely bringing it back in the meta, and it looked super deadly. And these days, with players going Hydra Lurker almost every single game comboed with the Defiler Plague, we could see a mech switch actually if we get some if we get a few TVZs.
Well, I don't know about that because again, probably depends on the maps and all of that. But I feel like these Terrans now are so confident. I remember back then, if you see these late game situations, the Terran used to take a new main, right, and put a factory and then defend it with tanks. Now I see people like Rush, they actually make more barracks and just put more bio in the main. Don't make tanks. They are so confident in playing bio that it goes to that extreme. So I'm a bit surprised, but yeah.
Yeah, there are players that are definitely bio players, and Rush is he's definitely one of them. I don't think I've ever seen him mech switch ever. He's bio man all day, every day, but I guess there could still be a chance that Ample or Mine comes up with that. My personal opinion is, I don't know how you kill the Hydras and the Lurkers if you don't have any tanks. So if they do end up going SK Terran, I'm curious what their comp is. Are they going to go, 20 vessels? Is it going to be 8 vessels plus battle cruisers? Is it going to be just mass marine medic with a few vessels? I'm not too sure.
I feel like we can expect make game from Ample actually. I think he likes to mix these mech builds. Like I have seen him in Pro Leagues and all of that, like doing mech builds.
Yeah, he could pull it out for sure. When I think of Ample's Terran versus Zerg, I just remember his games from a few years ago, back when I'd never heard of Ample, and he was stimming across the map. Really fast Academy rushes, but fast Academy rushes are pretty meta these days, 23 Academy, sub 330-minute Academies. So I don't think that will really catch Soma off guard if we do see it, but there are times that Soma can be caught mid-transition, so maybe Ample can come up with something. But we haven't even talked about the TVP between Best and Mind. Best is a macro god. But what do you think about Mind's chances versus Best?
Oh man, I feel like the problem here is that these two players, they play in the same conditions. What I mean in same conditions is like they actually like probably see the game in the same way. And I think like Bess is better in that aspect. Like he's like such a good macro player. Like you let him fly and he's going to fly like very high. So yeah, I feel like he's like, I think mine is going to have a hard time dealing with Best.
Yeah, I agree. When you think of Best, you think of macro god in Protoss versus Terran. Surprisingly, I think Best win rate, his highest might be PVZ in ASL, which was surprising. We'll have to wait and see the profile stats. But yeah, this guy, absolute monster in Protoss versus Terran. One thing that I do notice about his play is despite having a billion units, a lot of times I see him forget observers. And if you're somebody that can lay consistent mines out on the maps, he can accidentally run into them more often than not. So if Mind is diligent with putting mines everywhere, that could be one downfall of Best. But if we get into a game state where he's got his observers all over the place, he's got his typical 5 or 6 bases, yeah, it's going to be really hard to overcome that as Mind.
Yeah, it also depends on the first map. For example, if we get to Herbrick, there are not that many bases on that map.
That is true. So if we get into a split map scenario, yes, Best will be able to macro really well, but he's not going to have the ability to take 8 bases, not have the ability to take 75% of the map. And we could have a really delayed long game where Mind potentially just camps, forces Best to run out of money.
Yeah, that could be the case. That pretty much could be the case. And like imagine such a long game that they need to fight for the center.
Well, that would be crazy.
Yeah, if that is the map, of course, because we don't really know what is the first map.
Yeah, Heartbreak Ridge is going to be a tough map, but, actually when I think of Best, I don't really think of him as somebody that proxy gates often. I think at most he forward gates. So if I was Mind in this situation, I'd be feeling pretty confident that, I don't necessarily have to worry about a gate in my main, gate at top or bottom middle. But of course, because I said that, I'm sure Best is going to do something like that and just put pressure onto Mind from the get-go. But it is a 2-player map, so more than likely he will at least get gas stolen. We'll have to wait and see.
I just remember mine. Do you remember the map match point?
Of course.
Well,
yeah.
Well, he used to produce a factory in the opponent's base, but not in the main, but in the mineral only. Like doing these 2 factory rush against Protoss, and sometimes it actually like worked.
The mineral only? Okay. I don't think I've seen that often, but I do remember.
There is some space behind the minerals in the mineral only.
That is true. Okay, now it's coming back to my mind. Yeah, I do remember games like that, but I have also seen games where Terran players, they build a factory at top middle or bottom middle on match point, and they float it into the base. Now that's a really committed build. You either win the game with that, or you're pretty dead. I don't know if we'll see that on Heartbreak Ridge, but you do have a lot of not dead space, but unviewable space in your base because of how big it is. It is possible that he could float something in there.
There is a lot of blind space
Yes.
in Heartbreak to pull something like that. But yeah, it depends to him, to be honest. I feel like these two guys are like super solid with their micro. Like if you let them like play the play style, they are going to go like very far. Not really cheesy. And we didn't talk about Soma at all, and the interview is over.
Well, I think everybody has high expectations from Soma. You know, he's at the top of the Zerg food chain. He can pull out all types of builds. Often, you just turn on his stream and it's a new build that you've never seen before. I mean, this guy's reinvigorating the Zerg race. And Ample's going to have a really tough time with him, especially on a two-player map where both players are going to find each other fast. Both players are going to have access to that temple. And I'm sure Soma has something planned where he's going to abuse that temple in some way.
By the way, Ample and Soma, were both like amateurs. They were not professionals to the level of like playing Pro League and all of that. So like they come like very far in this scene. They are pretty much new people.
Yeah, I know Soma, definitely a new person, at least, you know, from 4 years ago. I think it was the first time I saw Soma, and I remember playing him on the ladder, and, you know, now here he is. He's in Pro League. He's definitely skyrocketed in terms of skill in such a short period of time. I mean, it's crazy how fast his skill has gone up. Meanwhile, Ample, he wasn't really a staple in Pro League back in the day, but he was on KT Rollster, so he does have Pro League experience. I don't think he's going to be nervous at all on stage here. So when we do get into...
Oh, wait. Did he play on Pro League?
Yeah, he was in KTF, KT Rollster, man.
No, I know, but like maybe B team or something like that, or like Larva?
I don't think so. I think he may have been a lower tier pro on the team, but I'm pretty sure he did play in Pro League at least a little bit. And we are getting a look at our groups. As you can see, today is Soma, Ample, Best, and mine, but we've got even more games coming up soon. Group D, Snow, Bishop, Shuttle, and JD. That may be my favorite group, simply because I really like Snow, Protoss, and my favorite player of all time other than Fantasy is Mr. J-Donk. So I'm really looking forward to Group D.
By the way, very good group, because Shuttle is also in good shape these days.
Yeah, Shuttle is really freaking good. There was a game a few months ago of him versus Light, and the only reason Light ended up winning that game is because he had a nuke, a defensive nuke, that killed the entire army of Shuttle. Literally the entire army. Shuttle, he was streaming it at the same time, and his face said it all. He couldn't believe what had just happened.
That has to be the best nuke in Brugge.
Yeah.
Then.
I'm trying to read what this text says. I can't really understand it. It's a little bit too difficult of words, but Soma versus Ample is going to be our first match of the day. You can see tier 1 Soma, Ample tier 4, and we're just waiting for the game to start.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the maps, man. I will be like confused, like if it is like Heartbreak again. Is how these people are getting to this point, like.
Oh, I think it's just preset Heartbreak every single time, and then the winners matches the vetoes.
Okay, well that makes sense then. So we're going to see Heartbreak on every group. That's okay.
Yeah, every single starting game is going to be on Heartbreak Ridge, and then it's going to be kind of up to the players. And because Soma is so innovative, you know, maybe today we won't see a 7-6 ban. We're getting a look at the statistics for Soma there, Can see he's got a killer win rate versus Zerg and Protoss. Kind of lacking versus Terran, but last season he absolutely obliterated Rush. He's very dangerous also in Zerg versus Terran. He can fight you straight up. In the games versus Rush in particular, he just counterattacked all game long and just won that way. So very dangerous.
You know, the problem with that score is that he actually like faced light in his prime. And yeah, it actually destroyed his score.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to Light's games also because Light has come up with a new Valkyrie build, and I've been a big fan of Valkyrie play for a while now. I really want to see how he can bring it into the meta in TVZ. And we now are getting a look at Ample's games. Not a lot of games played. As I said, Ample is somebody that goes in and out of ASL, but maybe this is finally his season where he can make his mark. He's only got 3 games versus Zerg, so I don't think that's really too telling of his TVZ. He's very good across the board, but when you're running up against someone like Soma, it really doesn't matter who you are. It's just flat out going to be super difficult.
Yeah, live on a stage. I don't know if he's going to deal well with the pressure. I think he has already like stage experience, especially from the Africa Team League as well. I think he actually did very well in the Africa Team League.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know. You know what? The Heartbreak is, if you ask me, it's not the best map for set players.
It can...
Like if you give me a map for Ample to beat Soma, it's this one.
It can be difficult, and our players are ready. So let's get into our first game of the day of Group C. It's Soma versus Ample. And in the mid-left position, our Zerg player, it is Soma. Meanwhile, in the mid-right, we do have our Terran, and it is Ample.
Yes, sir. It's going to be fun, man. It's good to see Soma again on a stage competing. Hopefully a good season for Soma.
Yeah, I think a lot of Zerg players are hoping to finally see Soma go all the way to the finals and get a victory. He's been very deadly, I think maybe the past 3 or 4 seasons now, but hasn't actually managed to get a championship, whereas players like Larva and and Mini have ended up taking the titles. And we do have an SCV being sent out. This should be for a wall.
Yeah.
Okay, and he puts it right there. Now that it is... There are spots where once the barracks gets placed below that depot where it looks like a wall and it actually isn't. Now it's been so long that I've played Heartbreak Ridge, I probably won't be able to necessarily tell.
I'm pretty sure this is not a full wall. There is a gap of 1 marine to 1 sterling.
Yeah, at the bottom there's a gap if you put it in the wrong position. So this may be just a semi-wall from Ample, but instead...
pull first for Soma.
Yeah, so pull first, and what Ample's going for is he's going for an instant scout. Now this is something that I've talked about that you can do on most 2-player maps. You scout, if you see the hatch, you go command center. If you don't see the hatch, you complete the wall, and unless it's a 4 pool, the 4 pool can't knock down or the early pool can't knock down the barracks in time. So this means that there's no hatch. You can see he instantly raxes.
And you're in Bay. Okay, that's interesting. I mean, if it was a 9 pool, that would be problematic, but yeah, it's a over pool actually.
Yep, over pool, and this is just going to be a delayed rax. So this is a really, really strong opener for Ample right now. I don't think it could really get any better versus someone like Soma. So already he's going into the early game in a good state. As long as these Lings don't do some type of weird catastrophic damage in the beginning. And something to point out is that I guess because that hatchery's been misplaced, this has forced Soma into a 3-hatch opener.
Yeah. 3 hatcheries opening some Heartbreak. We are back to the old school builds.
Yep, and eBay gets canceled. Rax lifted up and has been repositioned. Only 2 Lings have been sent across the map. This SCV, as long as that Rax is in the right spot where Lings can't get to the bottom, this is going to be fine for Ample. And it is. That looks dangerous, man. I gotta admit.
By the way, if I was Soma, I probably prepare like a 2 hatcheries build. So good play by Ample here by already affecting Soma's plans. You know, like it's a good start for him, I believe. Now, if you were like playing against 3 hatcheries, I don't really know if you have a plan for that, or like you go 4 barracks, 5 barracks, like old school, or 2 barracks. Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, generally when you see that it's going to be
Factory.
a 3 hatch, you go 5 racks, but he has decided he's going to go straight tank, or straight factory, I guess. We still don't know if it's going to be, you know, Wraith or 1-1-1 or what this is. This could also be mech. We talked about it earlier. Ample does play mech. We could see a flood of factories. We could see Goliath play.
1-1-1, man. That's something I didn't hear in a long time, and you are so right because it worked so well against 3 hatcheries.
Yeah, 1-1-1 is amazing. I think if I could get into a good state in most of my games, I would probably play 1-1-1 all the time. It's so flexible. Really, really strong too. And this is actually going to be mech play. So 2 factories coming down. He may be giving it away because the racks aren't blinking at all. But right now, Soma hasn't scouted it.
Yeah.
3.
Not really. No, I think we're going to 5 factories, to be honest.
Yeah, but this is 3 facts so fast. Okay, now he knows for sure. Why are you taking your gas at your natural this quickly? So it is going to be probably the 5 fact that you're talking about. Mass Goliath, first Vulture moving out. You can see Soma already knew something was up because he already sent his Lings back to defend. And also...
Oh, can he intercept a drone?
This is going to be a 4th hatch. He's going to take a 3rd base. What can 1 Vulture do? Well, the answer is nothing really. So this is going to be a 3rd base going up for Soma.
And he missed the expansion. Like if he denied that drone, it could be so good for him.
Well, if you were Zerg here and you know that you're going up against a Goliath play most likely, what do you think the answer is this? Is it big econ? Is it, you know, decent econ, Ling, Muta, and then like Hydra all in? What would you go with?
Well, I feel like the Heartbreak is like, it's like so good to abuse mutas early on, so I will like go like heavy on mutas, like until there is like Starport or something like that.
Okay, I've seen a lot of Zerg players go for that. I don't often see Goliath play these days, so Soma may come up with something different, but I do remember from experience that +1 armor mutas were really difficult to deal with. I like how the factories are tucked away, so it's going to be hard to be picked off, but that armory is not necessarily far forward, but a little bit more out in the open. We do have, I think, 3 Goliaths now, 4 Goliaths now. He wants that Overlord, but with range not kicking in, I don't think he's going to get it.
Yeah, that was way too optimistic. Something I don't see is turrets. Well, yeah, he's like going to finish it now. So Ample actually respecting the Soma micro. Sometimes actually, you know, against 3 hatcheries they skip turrets early on.
Yeah, you really don't want to build turrets if you don't have to. You would prefer to just have a billion units, and Ample has done a really good job to minimize the amount of turrets he's built. It's only 3. Burrow, man, I really like Burrow. I think it's free vision that almost never gets scanned until vessels. So I really like this. He's going to know every single time Terran moves out, and Muta's trying to find an opening, but really there's not much.
Soma just scouting.
Yep, and he saw the 4th factory coming down, so he knows it's a Goliath timing. He knows this is not some type of you know, third base, and I'm going to be sitting in my main or sitting in my natural, you know, just building tanks and Goliaths and taking a third. This is a timing, and here he comes, and this is really quick. This is just +1 plating it, though, so we'll see if this can be effective. Hydrogen just went down. The mutas are completely out of position. I don't know about this.
And it's only 7 mutas, to be honest. Like, even if there was in the main, I don't think it would make, like, a huge difference. Oh, he's making more.
Yeah, he's making more muta, and actually the sunken timing is going to be perfect. There's going to be 2 sunkens at both the natural and the third base. And that should be more than enough when comboed with the Mutalist to deny this push. Yeah, he's
I don't think he can engage that.
Yeah, there's no way he can engage. Oh, he actually got +1 weapon. I thought it was going to be plating. You see that often as the first upgrade from Terran, but we're going to have a big engagement in the center of the map. I don't think this is enough Goliaths. Oh, maybe?
No, the problem is there were mutas that were very, very hard.
Yeah, that's true. Those turrets and the free shots back at the natural, those were very softened up mutas, and all the mutas are going to die. And there's going to be like 5 Goliaths left over. That was a really great trade for Ample. More Goliaths coming in from the back.
Reinforcements are coming.
He kills every single muta except for 1. That was really, really nice. And now Ample, if he goes into something like even just 2 or 3 tanks like that, he could push.
That was such a nice prediction, man. Like, that tank already, wow, he's going to put a lot of pressure into this.
Yeah, this is really quick. To give perspective how quick this is, you usually see a 1-1 timing at around 10:15. He's already at Zerg's base at 9:35. So he's 32 a minute faster than normal. We got a counterattack from mutas. This is a good pickoff. But SCVs were mixed in with this army. If he starts building turrets, this game might be over. Right now, he doesn't have that much to defend.
Even bring SCVs to repair the tank.
Yeah.
That's made turrets. So that's so cool.
Well, he does need to be careful because Zerg still is 3 bases, 4 hatches, and it is only 1 tank. We've got the first few Hydras moving out. Supplies are still in favor of Ample, but with the mutas denying the reinforcements, Ample's got to be cautious to reinforce across the map with just 1 cycle of units.
Yeah. He's repairing the Goliaths with the SCVs. I don't think we see this every day, to be honest. Like, it's really solid build by Ample, and really good plan.
Yeah, I think Soma has to go now. The reason I say that is the army's starting to get together. We've got another move out of Goliaths. Oh, Goliaths, they need to not get picked off right now, but they are. But meanwhile, Ample's pushing. He doesn't care about these Hydras on hold position. He'll just shoot them while they stand there and do nothing. But is it enough to actually bust through?
By the way, I just realized that Ample need to be careful. There is only 1 tank.
Yeah, there's only
and he's making like many turrets, but Goliaths are not that great against Hydras.
Yeah, they are not. And look how many turrets were built. So almost all of his money is into anti-air. The mutas are trying to focus down the tank. It gets popped. But like you said, I mean, turrets are great, but we need actual fighting units on the ground to deal with these Hydralists.
Well, the turrets somehow are working because they are blocking the Hydras.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
They're messing up the AI, and more reinforcements are streaming across the map. He needs to save this tank for sure. Oh, just barely. Maybe he'll be able to hold. The reinforcements are here.
Wow, what a crazy game. I feel like with 2 siege tanks, it's going to be very hard to break this.
Yeah, 1 is not scary, but even just 2 or 3 is when it starts scaling really hard. And you can see Soma feels the pressure because he's unburrowed all of his links. He needs everything to defend this. Ample scrambling to repair those Goliaths in the front, really doing a great job with the SCVs. We've talked about the repair in earlier series, how clutch it has been. Oh, he's repairing that tank, and I think actually Ample's done it. Look at supply Eonzerg, 100 to 55.
Yeah, he can even mute a switch because there are so many turrets. Like, there is like no way to use mutas.
Damn, what an impressive build from Ample so far. Soma fighting for his life, but he's just not able to get on top of these tanks. Yes, the reinforcements are being denied, but it doesn't matter. The natural's been breached. There's going to be tanks shooting that hatchery in a second.
Yeah, when there are two tanks, two siege tanks in your main, and there is no other fighter or lurker, it's super scary.
Yeah, and back in, I guess we haven't technically looked at Ample's main. I did see 1-1 is kicked in. We don't know if there's actually any transition after this. I see that his minerals are consistently low, so he needs to win here. It doesn't feel... Oh, actually, I think he just built a command center, so he's not all in.
He just needs to be careful to not lose all the Goliaths.
Yep.
And by the way, Soma is doing such a good job denying reinforcements. Like, he's been doing it since the Mutas.
Yep, he's done a really good job keeping them back, but the 1-1 upgrades are done, and you can see even despite the low unit count that Terran has in the center of the map, Terran still wins that battle. And those Goliaths, they're just immortal. They're still frontlining here. The natural dies both of the hatcheries, so we've gone from 5 hatch down to 3 hatch, and at this point, there's no hope for Soma.
Yeah. But I mean, there is still like, he's still sniping siege tanks, but losing too much, losing way too much. And I mean, it's over 60 supply advantage now for the Terran player.
Yep, this game is done. He's got it in the bag. All that's left for Soma is this third base, really, and there's tanks and Goliaths here. The Goliaths have buffered so well at the natural that he's going to buffer the third base also. Look at this depot wall going up at the natural. You are not getting on my unit, sir. He may be able to take down one tank, but that's it. Soma can't believe it.
Yeah.
GG.
GG.
What a sick build from Ample there, and he's going to take the first game of our group. And remember, it's best of 1. You cannot afford to lose any games, and Soma's already in the losers match.
By the way, guys, I'm shocked as you are. I can't actually believe that happened, but that actually happened. I'm not dreaming. Wow. What a start to this group.
Well,
Ample is the one going to the winners. This is crazy.
Yeah, and he's a strong Terran player in all matchups. Like, if he gets best or mind, either one, he's going to have quite a good shot versus. So for him to take down Soma from the get-go, I mean, he's going to be feeling really pumped about that. Now, I wanted to ask you, what do you think was the error that Soma made? Did he stay on mutas too long? Did he not build enough mutas? What was the issue?
I think it's a combination of, like, he was like doing like this scouting side with the mutas, and somehow he just like stayed too much in that base, and the mutas got like really hurt, and then like he didn't realize how big the army was from Ample, that when it was the comment to retreat, and he had to face that army. By the way, he didn't need to face that army so early. I guess he got so confident in the numbers that he didn't realize the mutants that were coming back were like super hurt, and then they were like there was not enough force to deal with the Goliaths.
Yeah, you mentioned that the mutas were heavily damaged, and that definitely backfired. And we're going into a break, and we'll come back with game 2 in just a second. we are back. We're about to get into game 2, but of course, first up, we're going to talk about our ASL promotion. As I mentioned before, on Team Liquid, they have one going on. If you clip one of the streams or do a cast yourself, you can be entered into a drawing, I guess, of getting either a jersey or an ASL shirt, so you should definitely consider that. Meanwhile, what she's promoting here is Ask ASL, which is you've got a question for the players, put it on Freaka TV, and your question may get picked to be asked to the players during the interviews.
What will be your question today for the pro gamers, Nyoken?
For the pros?
Today.
I guess as a Terran player, and knowing that Mind had been gone for a long time, I'd probably ask him what he thinks about the current meta, what he's seen change, his impressions of it. That would be probably what I would ask him in particular. What about you?
Yeah, I think I will probably ask them how do you actually deal with the pressure playing on these public stages?
Yeah, it's tough, man. It only comes with experience. The more games you get in, the more comfortable you'll be. And we were talking about this earlier. Best is well known to be a Protoss versus Terran killer, but if you look at his profile stats, he's got a higher win rate versus Zerg. So if we do have Best versus Soma at some point, that should be in a very exciting series. I'm surprised his Protoss versus Terran win rate is just barely above 50%, because everybody knows Best is a macro god in that matchup. Now, meanwhile, we're getting a look at Mind's statistics, and he played back in Season 7, so it's been a while since we've seen him.
Man, these guys are going to play so hard, because they know who actually won the game from the other side. So they're like, I need to win this. I need to face Ampo instead of Soma. No disrespect, but we're going to losers and Soma is waiting. Oh my god.
yeah, you definitely want to win here, obviously, because there's no way you ever want to go up against Soma, whether he's in the winner's match or the loser's match. So it is imperative that both players here get a win, because if they go down to the loser's match, they may get eliminated, and they may get eliminated quick, because Soma has so many tricks up his sleeve.
But then, why, Nyoken, it ever happened to you that you were playing in a tournament and then the one you were preparing for is eliminated, and then there is someone else? Do you actually change plans, or do you stick to what you practice?
I think generally I just stick to what I practice, unless I know the opposing player is particularly deadly versus a strategy that I plan. Honestly, most of the time, if I was expecting a player to make it to a certain round, they ended up making it. There generally weren't many upsets. But our players are ready for game 2. Let's get into Best versus Mind. And in the mid-right position, our red Protoss, the one and only, it is Best. And in the mid-left, our Terran, it is Mind. Now, this is Heartbreak Ridge, a lot of proxy positions, as I've talked about, but again, Best doesn't strike me as somebody that proxy gates often. I think at most we'll see a forward gate as his natural, but I do expect him to send a probe over there regardless, whether it just wants to harass the barracks or gas steal.
Oh, really? Gas steal?
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
Every Protoss player should be gas stealing 2-player maps. It's so good versus Terran, unless you're an absolute genius and know how to manage the gas steal effectively. I mean, you can literally just win because you built an assimilator, because Terran gets thrown off so much.
Wow. Yeah, man, it reminds me this game we saw Bisu against Barracks. It was so close.
Yeah, that game was wild. If you guys have not checked it out, you should definitely consider checking it out. And We're seeing.
You know what's crazy? It's the Terran guy that's scouting first.
Yeah, he's got to, because proxies are so common. I'm surprised he didn't check bottom middle, though, because that's where a lot of proxies actually are. But he may have just gone out that quickly, or to that particular spot, because he may have it mapped out where I don't necessarily have to scout the bottom because your probe should have been there. So that could have been what he's looking for with that particular move. But surprisingly, we don't have a gas steal from Best, so he's going to let Mine just have his gas. It is just going to be a 12 gas. And everything's going to go as normal for Mind.
No, I'm telling you that these guys, they both like, they really see the game in the same way. Like, it's going to be like, it's going to be a macro fest. It's going to be like, who can play the best macro game plan, pretty much.
Well, that's fine with me. I would love to see a big macro game, especially with Best piloting the Protoss race. And we've got an SCV scout. He's going to see no 12 Nexus and be feeling good about that. But he may be wondering, dude, where's your probe? Why is there no scout, no zealot being sent across the map? Are you hiding something? So right now he's diligently looking for that second pylon. And we don't see any upgrade from the... Okay, there it is. Cybernetics is starting to spin, and that is range.
I actually scouted everything. Second pylon, the cyber core timing, like it.
Yep, and now Mind has an option. Wow, he ends up going into straight bunker. So he may have thought, did I miss the zealot maybe? But we know that there is no zealot out on the map, so he could have gotten a faster command center, but he's decided he just wants to play safe right now. SCV is going to hide, not willing to risk its life, and the goon is looking for him, and meanwhile, Nexus is going to be plopped down.
Yeah, I feel like he made bunker, to be honest, because call me crazy, but I feel like this dragon timing is like quicker than usual.
Could be slightly quicker since he ended up not scouting, but it's not that much faster than usual. You have two options as Terran. You either go 3 Marines or you go 2 Marines with the bunker. Both are safe. It's just kind of preference.
Oh,
really.
Vulture is out.
Vulture
Hopefully there is a other dragon. No greedy play. Yeah, there is one star dragon. But look at mine. He's coming back.
Yep. Well, Best lost vision of that Vulture. You never know where it is, so you've got to be very careful. And he's just gonna come back and play defensively here. Meanwhile, Mind, he's at least shown the Vulture, so there is gonna be in the back of Best Mind that there could be mines set out on the map. Wow, that's a tongue twister right there. We do have the goon gonna pick off that SCV.
Yeah. Robotic in the way for Best. Man, so far that they're like playing like super standard. There is nothing crazy. Oh wait, there is Citadel. Oh, here we go.
Nothing.
DT drop in the house.
Yeah, nothing crazy, Eonzerg. That looks pretty crazy to me. And look at that, straight Academy for Mine. But he will need to get an eBay if he just has scan and scans
wait,
the main.
what is this?
This is a...
Mine's attacking.
Yeah, this is a really sick timing. It's actually going to be, I think, quite effective because Best has skimped out on units, prioritizing his tech.
There are only 2 dragoons.
Yeah, this is nothing. Mines are going to get set up. Wow, this is panic mode for Best right now, surprisingly. And this is a decent amount of DPS. Of course, Mine doesn't know that. So right now, he's just using this as a way to get pressure on the map and deny the third base, and he's gonna back off.
Wow, what a... I mean, if it was a normal standard play, that would be so good. But Best is going to this.
Yeah, and I'm very worried for Mine now because if he misses the scan in the main, like if he just sees the robo, he may also scan the natural, and if he uses both scans, he's dead. Like, there's going to be no detection. There's no eBay. Only mines are set up.
But mine's actually ready for this. Like, he's actually like mining his base, and he's not going to scan until there is 100. Just to be sure there are like enough scan left.
Well, that mine in the center of the map did not see the shuttle, but Best, or a mine still moving into position. It all comes down to this. If he wastes his scans, this game might be over, but if he holds them like he is, he should be able to defend.
Race.
I love his Wraith. Yeah, the Wraith. Why does he build a Wraith? I don't know, but it's going to be perfect here. DT unloads. And, oh, but he doesn't realize that there's a Wraith coming out. That's going to die.
Oh, mine! Wow.
Well, what does Best do now? He's forced to unload and get something done. Okay, he
Going
unloads.
down so fast.
He splits the DTs. This is good. So he's at least going to get one out. The top DT didn't die. This is actually going to do a ton of damage. There's also another DT in the natural. This is falling apart. Oh my gosh. Mine's going to be kicking himself. He just barely didn't get that shuttle killed with the third volley from the Wraith. And now the DTs have racked up like 10 kills.
Luckily for mine, he has scans. But yeah, this is not a great start.
That DT could just run away and actually get out if it wanted, but instead he's going to hang around and get picked off, but not a big loss there. This did crippling amounts of damage. Now behind this, Best didn't take a fast third base, but instead he is teching into fast Arbiter. So that puts Mind on a clock, really. Versus fast Arbiter, you really want to take 3 bases? But he lost so many SCVs, he can't do that. So I imagine his only option now is to go for a timing or try and split the map and just hope that he can get to late game. That's going to be so difficult.
It's unreal. He was like, on paper, he was like prepared for this. He took so much damage anyway. It's crazy.
Yeah, I as it was unfolding where he was holding the scans, I'm like, wow, this is actually going to be perfect defense. But somehow that sneaky DT was able to get out of dodge and survive. And Mind is going to go for a counterattack here. He did avoid all the observers, so it has sneakily gotten all the way across the map. There's still not very much defense for Best, especially if he loses these 2 goons, which he does. I think he only has like 7 goons left over.
A lot of pressure coming for Best right now. 4 factories is the choice of mine. Lot of aggression. No more shuttles for Best. No silo the bomb, nothing. And the big problem here is that he can even do elevator with a draw chip. The big problem here for Best is that the army is very close to his base, but there are cannons.
Yeah.
There are cannons in the main.
Good defense from Best, recognizing that, hey, you built a race, so it's likely that you're going to elevator in my main. But I still actually like Mine's position here. He's gotten 4 tanks all the way across the map. He can use that dropship for vision and shoot the Nexus. And, you know, there's really not that many goons outside of the base. So he can even try and run around the goons and reinforce that way. But that was a great mine drag. He kills a tank for a DT.
Well, Best is going with everything. Can this clean the tanks?
Yeah, this is just barely not enough tanks. If he had maybe one more tank, maybe like one more tank and a couple more vultures, maybe he could have held. But it's just too much Protoss right now. Protoss is on like 8 gate. So he went from having almost no goons into a considerable amount real quickly. But those mines are getting massive hits.
What? Attack was clean. There are 3 bases for Protoss. And there is also an Arbiter coming, I believe.
Yeah, in fact, it might already be out. Okay, it's still blinking, but it's going to be coming out like within the next 15 seconds or so.
If you ask me, my position is problematic right now. No expansion, 5 factories. I don't say like that was the timing. I feel like that was the timing. I don't really think there is now like a choice for him to be aggressive again.
Yeah, that's true. He needs to just lay mines everywhere because, like I said, one of the downfalls of Best playstyle is he's got really good unit movement, he's got really good macro, but sometimes he forgets observers. So Mine really needs to just hope and pray that Best runs into a big minefield. Maybe he can have an effective trade, and that allows him to take 3 bases because, like you said, that push, there's going to be no more pushes from Mine. His timing is down the drain. Maybe he can have one more after he hits like 130 supply. By the time that happens, Best may be maxed out. So I don't know.
Look at Best. He's so good with this with his game that he already like making more expansions. It's just like he knows he has a free way now to just like go make more expansions. That's the moment that you are going to out macro your opponent.
Yep, really building that econ. Vultures are going to sneak into the third base. Cannon already set up though. He may still get a few kills here. And you can see that Best has already gotten almost complete saturation at all of his bases. That's why you see him not even building more probes at that nexus. So it's just going to be pure units from here on out. And that's why Mind has so many factories, because he knows that's how Best plays. Just tons and tons of units. He definitely needs 6 facts. If this was just 4 facts, he'd probably have no chance of stopping an incoming attack.
Yeah, man. But the problem is like not here command center for Mind. He's going to like slow down so much. He's already preparing for recall.
Yeah, and the main is so big on a Heartbreak Ridge, he's going to have to build 1 billion turrets. Like, there's just so many angles you can come from. You can even come from the bottom if you want. That's definitely an angle.
It's essentially like... No way, right? Do you think he's like going for it already?
Yeah, he's going to bust. This is what Best does. He's going to bust the entrance. He doesn't care if there's depots or racks floating. He knows he killed like 10 SCVs with his DT drop. He didn't take that much damage to the counterattack. Yes, he lost units, but he didn't lose workers. So he's going to most likely go for maybe a double stasis timing in the next minute with 200 supply and just try and kill Mind. He knows Mind has a lot of his units in his main because he thinks the recall's coming. So hitting the front could be smart.
Yeah, and he probably knows that there are not that many tanks. So even if he trade like the whole army, let's say, and lose everything, he's probably going to do more damage to Mind than anything else.
Yep, and we do have another base being taken top left, and this is the timing for Best. You can see he's sharking to hit that natural. Mind has no idea that there's so many units out here waiting. He's got so much in his main. Look how many tanks and vultures there are. He needs to get everything out into the natural right now. But actually, Best is not going as fast as I anticipated. That's a lot of zealots. There's not that many goons, actually. If there's just a big minefield, this could be what Mind was really looking for. Just have, hopefully, good mine connections, and maybe that can allow him to get his third base.
No, but most of the Mind's army is also in the main. So he's like not defending with everything.
Yeah, he's got a good chunk at his natural, but yeah, there's about 15 to 20 supply in the main. Surprisingly, Best still has not gone.
Oh, wait a minute. No, don't see. He really doesn't know how dangerous it is right now.
He just sees some goons sitting there, but that's like all of the goons. It's 10 goons and like 40 zealots. No joke.
Yeah, man. Like, now I'm confused. I'm like, Best, what are you going to do? Like, recall? Estasis.
There's the first stasis. So this was going to be the double stasis that I talked about.
One more.
Oh my gosh. There's actually not that many mines here. The goons are going to come in front first. They're going to trigger the only mine there. The zealots, can they get on top of the tanks is the question. And I think the answer is yes. The vultures are doing a good job, but there's a lack of mines. That's another great stasis. There's only 5 tanks left.
I think this is it, man. I don't see a way for mine to hold. Like, it's 5 bases against 2.
Yep, 5 versus 2. He can afford to just throw these zealots. The zealots still traded quite effectively, but look at how fast Best supply plummeted down to 130. If Mind had better econ, he would definitely still be in this game. I'm curious what Mind's upgrades are. Okay, he's got +2 weapon, so actually he's got a big power spike, and he did survive. And look at Best money. I mean, he's not floating that much resources, so surprisingly, Mind still in it.
Yeah, but there is a cumulative problem for Mind. His 2 bases are like running out, and now he's going to take a tier. So like, even with a good hold, that was a good hold, it's still pain because oh wait, you are going to lose a lot of workers.
Well, Best needs to be careful because he does not have supply advantage like he did a moment ago. He cannot afford to just keep funneling in units. He also used all of his Arbiter energy, so there's no stasis, no recall or anything. This is a huge deal for Mind. He's gotten his 3rd base with even supply. He can take a 4th base also, and that's what I'm talking about. Those mines, man. Best really struggles with the mines, and you can see a couple of Zealots win it. What's this for? He doesn't have enough energy for recall, so he just backs out.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mentioned, he can actually take the mineral only. Like, if he takes that, that's going to be so good for him.
Does he have EMP? Does he have EMP?
He doesn't
Oh,
have
he does
EMP.
not have EMP. So that Arbiter survives. He's going to recall right now, and that's a big recall. He's going to... he eliminates the vessel. That's fantastic. He's not going to kill the command center, but it at least forces Mine to evacuate this base. And like you said, Mine's on basically 1 base mining. So this is a big denial.
Oh, wow.
He's gonna
Just when mine was like taking a breath and just like...
Yeah, if he had EMP there, I mean, he had the energy. I just don't think he had the upgrade is what I mean. And these goons are going to rack up some SCV kills. That's great. And here we go. Recall into the main also. Still no. Oh, he does hit the EMP, but the recall still gets off.
Yeah, that can happen, guys. You EMP the Arbiter and he still recalls. It's a mechanic.
Yeah, it's a mechanic. It's a feature of the game. Well, hopefully Mind can save these armories, because if this gets picked off, this is what Mind is really relying on, these heavy upgrades. If they die, that's going to be his entire lifeline down the drain. But Best is not focus firing them down, so he is actually going to be able to complete them. At least I think he is.
What I really like for Mind here is that Best is losing a lot of Dragoons, and that's expensive.
Yeah, it is expensive.
And Arbiters.
Yep.
He's losing Arbiters as well.
Yep, and he lost the Arbiters, and as you mentioned, Heartbreak Ridge, not a map that has a ton of bases, so three base versus 5, you know, not exactly the ideal position for Terran, but if Terran can get this 4th base, that's going to be definitely manageable. Terran can win games from this position.
If we get the extra mineral boost with the mineral only, I can actually see, like, but you know what? Best was so smart taking that bottom right expansion.
Yeah,
that means when Terran finally gets to clear that, it's going to be like waste, you know? It's going to be super used.
Yeah, it could be mined out by the time he gets over there. We've got a big probe transfer. I like that. He does need to saturate bottom right ASAP. And that may force Terran actually to just give up bottom right and maybe rely on taking the middle, because at least the middle is kind of closer to all the other bases. If you defend the middle, you're somewhat defending the bot and also your main. So that may be a strategy that Mind could use here, kind of play it like Fighting Spirit. I see a lot of games in Fighting Spirit where Terrans take a 4th base in the center.
Yeah.
And +3 completed for Terran, so that's a huge power spike. Tanks with +3 and Vultures with +3 hit like no other unit in the game, and we've got another Arbiter moving towards the main, so another recall incoming. Not a lot of turrets, man, so this is definitely going to be a successful recall unless units get over there ASAP.
But there are mines. Maybe he can defend that.
Okay, he gets in, and that was a big mine hit, and it's only Zealots, so these 2 mines sitting right here may be able to deal a lot of damage. You can see Mine scrambling to get into position, and this recall really didn't do very much. However, Best is repositioning the bottom middle. Now that's great storms. That is going to deal a lot of damage, but a counterattack at the bottom side of the map. Zealots and Goons going to try and deny this mineral only.
Oh, the CBs, need to be careful.
Oh, the Zealot drag. Eliminates most of the tanks. Also got a lot of SCVs there, and these Goons are going to focus down that command center. That may end up dying. And oh, he's going to get 1 vessel, 2 vessels. That's critical for Terran, and this may have been the move that breaks Terran's back, because supplies are plummeted for him. Sub 100 versus still 150 for Protoss, and there it is. GG. Damn. Clutch DT drop from Best gets him into a good mid-game state, and then finishes him off with some really good Arbiter recall and stasis play.
You know, something I need to mention is that Bess was not really effective with his attacks. He was able to deal with advantage, but I think against Ample he need to be more careful, to be honest, because like in this game, he got such a good lead with the DTs that it didn't really matter.
Yeah, if that was more of a normal game state, or maybe the DTs only deal 4 or 5 SCV kills, I think mine for sure could have held those attacks a little bit better and then gotten into mid game, and then Bess would have been in trouble because, like you said, the attacks were not super effective. It was mostly he just happened to have huge econ versus a lacking econ from Terran, but still he manages to make it into the winner's bracket, which is fortunate for him because now he gets to avoid Soma and instead will face off versus Ample.
Yeah, man. Bess versus Ample. I didn't see that one coming, but it's going to be fun. I'm curious about the map, by the way.
Yeah, we still need to wait and see what the vetoes are. But can you imagine if Ample makes it out in first? That means for sure Soma or Best won't make it in, and it's possible that neither of them make it in.
Well, that is crazy. My my vision doesn't go that far, Nyoken, but we will see.
Yeah, we already saw the upset in Group A with Mini getting eliminated. I couldn't believe that. I had Mini going really far. So for him to already be gone is surprising, but Soma could be on the chopping block because he's already in the losers match. And even though Mind ended up falling to Best, Mind had really solid mid game. I could see him taking down Soma also.
Yeah, this is the chaos of best of one. You can make one mistake and that's it.
That is so true. You got to be very, very careful.
Instead, today we are going to have a hot 6.
Always with the hot 6, man. And that guy looked very likely, or very similar to Ample. In fact, I almost thought it was Ample for a second. But we're more than likely going to have Dark Origin as our pick, I'm sure. ZVT, what are your thoughts on that map if we end up getting it?
TBT? We're going to see TVP
now.
Oh,
whoops. Yeah, for some reason I guess I really want to see Soma. I want to see if he's going to be eliminated. I was thinking we were going to go into that. Okay, so TVP, we're still most likely going to see Dark Origin. Well, I'm the Terran player here, so I actually think that we're going to see a similar build to what mine showed, which was the one fact into one port. You remember the base or the natural and Dark Origin has that back area that you can unload? I think Ample could try and do that where he unloads a tank there and runs vultures into the main. That seems like it could be an effective build.
So you're expecting like one base star per build into expansion?
No one base. I don't think Terran players can win with one base versus pros, but a 2 base, very similar build to mine's build, and then maybe like a 7th act follow up. That's always a really strong build.
I mean, to me it feels like it feels complex to do what mine did because of the map and the bridges. It really feels like Protoss can contain more Terran. Do you think that?
It is definitely a build where you have to get damage done. If you don't get any damage done, you're friggin' dead because Protoss will just take bases like what Best did. They're gonna recognize like, hey man, all those vultures you built, well, guess what? Those aren't tanks. And goons, well, they just flat out beat low tank pushes. So you do have to be getting damage done when you do go for a build like that. And I think we're going to be going into a commercial in just a second. Looks like the Hot 6 promotion is about to end. Well, maybe not.
Man, next game is going to be fire, guys. Ample against Best, fighting for the advancement.
Yep, indeed. And we are going into the breaks. We'll be back in, I think, 5 minutes. following a gas steal. But thinking about last game that we saw against Mind, Best ended up not gas stealing at all. I'm sure Ample's keeping that in the back of his mind right now. He may be thinking like, hey, you're not going to gas steal me? Well, maybe I'll end up going gasless as an opener, because that can be a really, really strong build if you don't have to deal with any harassment, any probes, or any gas steals.
Nyoken, I think there is a problem with your stream.
Oh. Is there something wrong? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I think the stream went off. No, it's back now.
Okay, that's weird. But we're back now. And we're going to be getting into game 3. This is our winner's match. Ample versus Best.
Wow, man, this is stressful.
Okay, in the top left, our white Protoss, it is Best. And in the bottom right, it is Ample. Not sure what was going on with the stream, because I didn't lose connection at all. Didn't lose connection with Eonzerg either. So, bit of a weird scenario with Afrika, I guess.
You know what, Nyoken? Ample can make history for himself here. He's one game away to advance.
Yeah.
Like if I was in his position, there would be so many like feelings in my head.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there are sometimes I play a really good player on ladder, and I'm almost winning. I'm like, dude, did I win? And then I start getting nervous. I'm like, I'm about to win, and then I throw everything. So hopefully he doesn't have those types of thoughts, because he is really close. He played super well versus Soma, and we're getting a look at match history here. There's only one game between Best and Ample, and Best took that. Couldn't see the date, but it looked like quite a long time ago. However, as I was stating earlier, Best is well known for his PBT. Meanwhile, Ample stats were just 1-6 versus Protoss, so this is going to be really tough.
By the way, I like from Best that he's actually like not doing anything crazy. He's like respecting his opponent and doing what he trained for.
Yep, and I like that this is, I think it was a 12 gas, so this is a normal opener from Ample. No 11 gas, no gasless, no risky builds, and Best is doing exactly what he did last game, which is no fast probe scout. I imagine probably not even going to be a fast zealot. Instantly builds the cybernetics. So both players just feeling like, hey, I'm fine with you having no shenanigans happen to you in the early game, and we'll just get into a mid game, and I'm going to beat you there.
Well, we will see that. We will see that. I mean, there is still a chance that Ample goes for something crazy. If he keeps getting gas from 3 SCVs.
Yeah.
That is not the case.
Yep, he's already pulled off, and this time around it is a zealot first, and you can see it's now moving out. So this is going to force out a lot of Marines from Ample, at least 3, maybe even builds a depot before his command center, and also build a vulture. I think that is an SCV already going to the low ground to build a bunker.
Did Best make a second seal? Why there is no range?
Yeah, so he's just delaying the range to get out the faster goon, and now he's getting the range upgrade. So everything looks very normal. But remember, last game, Best went for a DT drop, so even if I saw range, I wouldn't be feeling confident that, hey, this is actually range. I may think like this guy could have potentially gone for a weapon upgrade fake. But we know that that is just a normal opener. Nexus follow-up. Look at that, he even canceled.
Oh, no, he canceled.
Yeah.
For the Nexus.
Yep, he wants that faster Nexus, get his econ rolling even quicker. Well, this is...
But you know what? Ample is like going to scout this.
Yeah, he's going to come into the main, and he's going to see the fast Nexus, and he's going to see the canceled range. Now, Best is floating a lot of gas. 400 gas, that's a lot to float. at the pro gamer level. So if the SCV gets in here and sees no spinning cybernetics, he may think, okay, actually it now restarts.
Oh my god. Do you think that he's making a second dragoon? Because there is one Vulture going to his base.
Wow, I don't think he's actually building one. I think he used all of his resources for range, and then I think he was trying to put down a robo, and this Vulture gets in. This should never happen. And can Ample get some kills? So far, he doesn't get any. He softened up 2 probes, but if he can get even just 2 probe kills, that would be great for him. Oh, the probe control is immaculate. He saves every single probe that got damaged, and the Vulture is not even get a single probe kill. He at least scouts that there's no tech, but that was really good defense from Best.
I'm very disappointed that he didn't kill any workers, to be honest. Like, that was like a gift given to you and you didn't take it.
Yeah, that's always really heartbreaking, because like you said, you gotta take anything you can get in Terran versus Protoss.
That's against Best, man. Yeah. Come on, you go there, you kill 3-4 workers. Holy shit, we have such an insane game coming.
Yeah, it would have been just a fantastic position for Ample to be in. And like I was predicting before the game started, this is one factory, one starport, but you can see Best, he's aware of what map he's playing. He's got a pylon already in position to spot for a potential attack from the back. Also give vision in case there's a drop there.
Well, there is still a chance that he plays some siege tanks and just on siege and go away.
What was that?
You know, with the dropship. I mean, you can like be aggressive on the Protoss natural siege, then on siege and go away. Maybe. Yeah. There are not that many dragoons.
He might be able to do that. Right now, he doesn't have any tanks. So what I think he's gonna do now is I think he's gonna just drop Vultures and maybe get some into the main, but then also run Vultures from the normal entrance into the natural and try and do like a double pronged attack. We'll see if he can get any damage done. Right now,
I think if he does that, like going right now with the Vultures, he's going to spoil his strat for nothing. I don't think he's going to find damage.
Well, right now I don't see any goons in position at behind the natural, and goons are not on top of the ramp either, so maybe he can get something done. You can see he's used the majority of his mines, because when you do a drop like this, you're not expecting to get goon kills, and you just want to get into the probe line ASAP, so you don't need mines for any of that. We've got support bay going up right there, and the drop is going right into the natural. I don't know about this move. He's going to get 2 probes. That's not enough.
That's 3 workers for 4 Vultures. Probably not good enough.
Well, for now, the dropship ends up surviving, but the problem is that the dropship's been shown, and Protoss already has a 3rd base. So now Protoss knows, like, hey, man, you spent a lot of resources on this drop. You obviously spent a lot of time building Vultures, and I took almost no damage. So Best should be feeling really good about his situation right now.
You are so right. Now he knows there is no like other timing coming or anything else, so there is so much freedom for Best.
Yeah, and these Vultures, okay, maybe he can get into the main. Okay, this is what he was looking for. Get into the main, but unfortunately only gets in there with 1, and there's already a goon in position. He does at least spot the shuttle, so he knows a drop's coming, or Reaver drop is coming most likely, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Look at how long that depot line is in Ample's main. That is so long. That's how wide of an area Protoss has to drop. We've got another drop coming for Ample. This might actually have tanks loaded up, but instead he's angling right towards the natural again.
I'm trying to picture the future for Ample here, and it seems to me like the best way right now for him is just to expand, right?
Yeah, he's got to play defensive right now. That's why he has 3 factories. But more than likely he is going to just expand, which is why you see him slowly pushing out those tanks like that, and there is the command center, as expected.
And Best is ready for like he's like covering every single expansion. I mean the tier is a bit exposed. Maybe if Ample can get some Vultures there, I feel that's going to be difficult, but I mean not impossible.
Well, I like this whole. How did that observer survive? I thought
I have
for
no
sure.
idea. I was pretty sure that was in range of the other turret.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely gonna get triggered, or trigger the other turret. But we've got another drop potentially coming into the third base. This dropship is still heavily damaged, so Ample's got to be very careful. How does he find that opening? He's going to get a couple of probes for just 2 vultures. There's 2 probes down, 3, 4, 5 would make it definitely worth. Still a good trade though, and supplies are basically
That was good.
even.
That was good. To be honest, that was good.
Yeah. Basically even supply for Terran going into the mid game. That's exactly where you want to be as Terran. We see, I think that was Citadel halfway done. So it's not going to be Fast Arbiter this time. Most likely this could be Mass Shuttle Man with Zealots and Storm potentially. We still haven't seen that Reaver get used yet though.
No, I'm already like aiming for this double Grace. I feel like his macro plan is really working so far, even with the failed draw chip early on. Yeah, man, like I feel like Best is really going to need to work for this victory, because it's not really like the last game. You can feel like there is some balance in this game.
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that he has no high-tech units makes me a little worried for his unit comp going into the mid and late game. And Ample is going to take his 3rd base. Best is just now starting to take his 4th base. So it's not like his econ is crazy just yet. This is definitely a manageable position for Ample. Also, I know he rushed +1 pretty quickly, so +2 should be kicking in pretty soon.
Yeah. Do you think he's going to do a 2-1 timing?
He could do a 2-1 timing. Well, he should do a 2-1 timing. That's what most Terran players go for. And it looks like I had some stutter lag there for a second. But hopefully I'm back already. Vultures find this 4th base, and that cannon's going to die instantly. Not going to be able to get any probe kills. There was no transfer just yet, but we'll be able to damage the Nexus quite a bit.
Because I was thinking like with a 2-1 timing, even if it is like super strong, like you need to be like really careful with your control. You can really like go out and just lose that, like because it's game over.
Yep, especially with these bridges. If you partially get out, but you're not actually getting out, and you just have, vultures bouncing behind the tanks, well, scratch that for a second. We've got a huge attack coming. A lot of shuttles here. Good defensive matrix. A lot of mines set up. I really like Ample's position. As long as the mines don't decimate the Terran army, this could be a good hold for Terran. So many zealots.
I mean, that's a lot of zealots.
Yeah, just endless zealots, and they actually get on top of all the tanks. Just barely, not enough vultures in this 3rd base. Maybe it doesn't get shut down, but the entire tank count gets reset.
No, everything's reset. Like, Jesus, I didn't expect him to get so much damage.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a good position for Ample, but just barely, not enough. Zealots are going to get on top of this SCV line. Okay, they don't splash the SCVs, but the goons are out front, preventing reinforcements. Oh no, splashing his own SCVs is Ample, and those zealots are going to get a lot of SCV kills, and goons may potentially be able to pick off this command center.
I mean, wow. That was total destruction of Ample. Like, I never dreamed for him to get such damage. Like, I mean, what happened?
Yeah. At best, he always just finds the right angle at the right time. He's gonna come in again.
Close. He was sieged. Like, I mean, no, but you're overstanding here, right?
Yeah, it's if we could get a look at the replay, I think what was lacking was there weren't any Goliaths. We've got another goon attack coming in again. The tanks just get reset over and over and over. So that means if Ample was going for a timing, well, obviously that doesn't exist anymore. He's going to have to wait upwards of at least 3 to 5 minutes before he can feel confident in his tank count again.
Oh man, you know you are in troubles when even the Dragoons don't die.
Yep. And we do have a lot of Templars banking up at best main. So once another shuttle gets built, I'm sure he'll be reinforcing with that drop potential. That command center is very isolated now. That could get taken down. Oh, storm drop. Oh, amazing. He's going to blanket all the SCVs. Only 5 remain.
Goodbye, Eco.
Look at this control. Goons didn't take that much damage. Now finally a mine connects. The D-Matrix is fantastic to save that tank. And actually, supplies are shockingly similar. 120 to 110.
Yeah, and you know what? Best didn't take this opportunity to keep expanding.
Yeah, he's just now going to build his 5th base. And this is looking similar to the Heartbreak Ridge game in the sense that, you know, this is potentially going to be a split map scenario. Our Terran player just barely holding on. If he can get a 4th base, he'll be in an okay spot.
Nyoken, this guy lose so many SCVs, and I just saw him like transferring like 12.
Yeah. Ample definitely no slouch on building SCVs, but the problem for him is just like for Mind, the main and natural are basically mined out. So even though he has 3 bases, he's gonna be mining on only 1 base in just a moment.
I mean, there is no way he's going for it again. Impossible.
Well...
Nyoken, impossible.
You would think he wouldn't.
No, Nyoken, impossible that he's like, no way.
This is best,
Nyoken.
man. He just attacks all the time. For sure he can go in here.
Impossible.
He's going to go for it, dude. This is what he does. He always tries to make it happen. Storm drop from the top. Zealots and Goons funneling in. The 2 tanks get obliterated. Another storm goes down. He's able to get a few SCVs, too. He's still going. I can't believe it. He actually managed to get some Zealots funneling down, but the majority of his Goons can't get in here.
Nyoken, this has to be the smallest, biggest attack ever on the smallest gap that you could, like, I don't even know.
Yeah, I
don't
know how. I don't know why he ended up going for that. That was such a tiny choke, but he did a lot of damage, but in the end, Ample still ends up holding it.
You know what? At the same time, Best now has a new expansion. Ample is losing resources, and it's like his army is so small that he can't even like put map presence anymore. It's all about defending. And I don't know, man. He's like, what you do now? Like, you spend again? You keep like playing like that?
Well, he's got his Stargate blinking, so this is gonna be Arbiter follow-up, and yeah, where does he expand? Every other expansion is on Terran's side of the map. I think he should consider taking top right in a moment, because that will force Terran to not be defensive anymore. He can't afford to let Best just get top right and bottom left. We do have a tank drop at bottom left, so this Nexus is under threat. But Best quickly to get into position with his Goons and Zealots.
There is no observer.
No observer. And those mines do a ton of damage. But there's just endless amounts of Protoss, just more and more streaming across the map.
Yeah, that's crazy. No, that is crazy. Like, he actually attacked it from the right side, right into Terran expansion, in the smallest gap, like, and somehow he actually traded it, like, I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, Bess is really good at making attacks work. Even if sometimes he forces them, he still has effective trades. But Ample has somewhat stabilized. He's sitting at 125 supply versus 150. He desperately needs to get another base, though. Finally, the mineral patches at his natural are mining out. If he could land an EMP here on top of the goons and Templars, maybe that could free up some area for him to take mid-right.
Yeah. He's mined out now in the natural. He need one more expansion for sure.
Good mine connections there. Get 3 goons essentially for free. Best is starting to get some high tier units though. I know that the Arbiter should be coming out pretty soon. We've got 2 elevators to bottom left, 2 tanks and 4 vultures are going to come in here, and he's going to knock down that cannon. And vultures do a lot of damage to Nexus shields, so this base could be killed. But again, Best on top of it, streaming in some zealots really quick. Oh, he focused down the probes, so even though he's not going to get the Nexus, he's going to at least eliminate the incoming resources.
By the way, Nyoken, I don't know if Ample realized, but he's like using mines a lot more now. Like he's actually like active going into the map and placing mines. I don't know if he realized that Best is eating mines left and right.
Yeah, he may have recognized that Best is eating those mines like you're saying, and now he's really focusing on being diligent with the mine placement. Best is about max right now with double Arbiter, so I'm sure we're going to have an attack in just a second.
Yeah, and he has now the like Arbiters. He can like Ecstasies or Recall. I mean, is this one of these attacks that Best does again? No, he's just denying. He just denying expansions, but I feel like he needs to expand again.
Yeah, he could consider taking top right. What I would like to see Best do is really put a lot of pressure at mid right. Act like, hey, you're never taking this base ever. Focus all of the attention there. Then Ample, of course, has to move all of his units to top right. Once that happens, then go recall the main. I think that's the move for Best. If he can go for that mind game, that could lead to a victory for him. Here we go. Ample moving all of his stuff up the top right, but there's not that much from Protoss here. Stasis is going to have to be brilliant if he wants an attack to work.
He doesn't have SSCs in that Arbiter, but probably has in this one.
That is so many tanks! So many tanks! So few Goliaths! The EMP gets off, but the Stasis still lands!
The Matrix is always good.
Another stasis on the tanks in the... I love when they stasis the tanks in the back. That leaves those tanks at the front so isolated. So those are 100% going to get picked off. But a lot of stuff behind this army. That command center might die, though, and that was the main command center.
No, he's going to see another day. Yeah, it's a good trade for Best, I think.
Yep, another good trade in favor of Best, and it's gotten to the point where all he has to do is deny this fourth base. He doesn't have to take bases anymore. Terran is just going to run out of money any moment now. Another great stasis, the staggered stasis, so effective versus Terran. Another reset of the tanks. Those tanks at the front become, or in the back, become unstasis. They're all going to die, and this may be over. We may be seeing the GG in just a second. We actually got a tank drop at mid-left, which the Observer has not caught just yet, but he eliminated the probes over there.
Yeah, but I feel like Best has done the job. Like, he's already like advancing on this tier expansion. Yep. There are not that many units left, and that's GG.
Yep, GG comes
Best
out.
going first in this group.
Yes, impressive play from Best. He makes it out in first, looked really good versus Mind and Ample, and of course he's very thankful to avoid Soma.
But you know what? He had to. I mean, it's so crazy to me that the first attack he did worked so well.
Yeah, the one across the bridges.
I would like to see that on replay or something, because I mean, Ample was like, it was on siege, like so many mines, but everything just like went down.
Yeah, I would also like to see the highlight of that particular move, because I think Ample had one Goliath. If he had even just 3 with +1, he could have been 2-shotting the shuttles. There were 3 shuttles there. So even eliminating just one of them with full zealots could have been the difference maker. But regardless, it was a great attack from Best and snowballed the game in his favor. I think Ample did a really good job with his drops to try and come back into it. But when you're down that many bases, it's just too hard.
Yeah, it got difficult. It got really difficult for Ample. Like, I mean, to be honest, he played well. He did some interesting drops. Actually, do you think like the first drop not being effective is what really like put him behind this game?
Generally, in my opinion, when you go for drops, if they don't get probe kills, you're just flat out behind. I think he got a decent amount right with the second drop where he got four probe kills at mid left. That was not bad, but when you go for a vulture drop, I think you're looking for like 6 to 7. Then you're really feeling like you had an effective drop. So overall, I think it was decent, and you know the supplies reflected that. It was 110 to like 100 at the mid game. So I think overall the drop was fine, but Best, he's just I don't know how he makes his attacks work or how he macros so well, but he's always just so good with his angles and attacking.
Oh my god, without counting that he got the first Vulture drop.
Oh, yeah,
no Vulture drop, the first Vulture run by in Protoss main and didn't get a single worker.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking. If it's me, you feel like you hit the jackpot and then you get nothing in return. Really, really devastating.
Yeah.
Well, I think I figured out the reason for why the stream dropped, and the reason is I ran out of hard drive space making a recording of this video, so hopefully there will be no more issues from here on out.
Yeah, congratulations to Best, man. First place. Not bad, not bad.
Yeah, so we've got 2 Protoss now, Bisu and Best, so really representing their race as well. 2 Terrans, and we've got 1 Zerg. So Soma's the lifeline here to keep the balance. He must win over these other 2 Terrans, but so far the Terrans have looked pretty strong. I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for Soma.
No, for sure, no. Soma has now a hard game against mine, and then a difficult rematch against Ample. It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, especially with Ample pulling out the Goliath build in the first game, showing us that, hey man, don't forget, mech is still in the Terran arsenal. I think a lot of Terran players struggle making mech openers work because the Zergs have gotten so good with whether it's mass muta, mass hydras, or queens, that it's really hard to make that Goliath play work. But on that 2-player map where he was able to just, you know, go Rax command center really quickly, really snowballed his build quite quick. And Soma's going to have to be careful going into our final few games of the day.
Yeah. Best of 1. Always so dangerous. Do you think that isn't the mind of a player? That is a best of 1?
Do I think best of 1 is dangerous to players?
No. Do you think that is in the mind of a player? Like, oh, this is best of 1, I need to be careful.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think certain players think like that. I think there are other players that don't necessarily care about best of 1. So, for example, if Shine was playing, I don't think he cares if it's best of 1. In fact, I think it would probably benefit him because he probably thinks the other guy's going to be playing overly careful, and maybe he can abuse him, whether it's like with a 4 pool, or maybe he can get away with a greedy build because the other player's playing way too defensive. But we're going to be going into a break in just a moment, and then we'll be back with our losers match. Find out if Mind can eliminate Soma, or if Soma will be able to get a rematch versus Ample in the Deciders match. And we are back, and we're going into our losers match, and it is going to be Dark Origin again. So it's going to be our first TVZ that we're going to see so far in the ASL on Dark Origin.
Quality game ahead of us, Soma against mine. Two very high caliber players, but my favorite is Soma as a player after all.
Yeah, this is going to be a real test for Mind. He looked quite good versus Best, but Soma, he's a whole different breed. He's got all different types of styles. Really, really tough to read this guy. Sometimes he'll all in you. Sometimes he'll just play super passive, go for the ultra late game. He's got all types of builds. And one of the highlights I think we saw from yesterday, it was him going mass ultras with Ensnare versus Light. So really, really dangerous player.
Yeah, I see Soma. I don't know why, but I have the feeling that Soma is a bit worried about these games.
Oh yeah? You think so? You think the
Yeah, I
pressure's
see, I see. I don't know. I feel like he's probably like saying that, man, today maybe I'm not play my best.
Really? I thought he looked pretty decent in the game versus Ample on Heartbreak Ridge. He just unfortunately wasn't able to reach that critical mass with his Hydras and Mutas to end up taking him down. But our players are ready for our losers match. Let's get into it. Mind versus Soma on Dark Origin. So in the bottom right, our Zerg hopeful, it is Soma, and meanwhile in the top left representing the Terran race, it is Mind.
Soma is doing a 5-pull. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to lose my mind. I forgot that Hyun actually 5-pulled on this map, so it really isn't our first ZVT. It would be so sick if he 5-pulled again, or if we saw another 5-pull here and it got a victory for Zerg.
I'm kidding. Well, what? Actually, Soma did an overpull on Hybrid.
That is true. I forgot about that. So we may see another early pool opener, or maybe someone's thinking, early pool didn't work out the first time. Maybe I need to just go back into standard play.
That is CB. What are you gonna do?
It should be for a wall, and it is. So this is going to be the double depot single racks wall, but Marines pop out on the wrong side with the position like this. So I'm curious where he'll actually put the barracks.
Yeah, normal game so far for Soma. I think he's going to play 2 hatcheries. I think he needs to do his best now. Probably 2 hatcheries Muta is the way.
Okay, we've got the semi-wall. Gonna be a slight gap there. But you just put a single SCV in front of the Marines there. It should be pretty tight. And we do have the hatchery coming down as expected. Now the real question is what's the gas timing going to be? Is it going to be the standard 2-minute gas timing that we see often these days? Or is it going to be something... I can't remember who pulled it out earlier. Maybe it was in Group A, but it was something like a 2.5 hatch build. And there is the 2-minute gas. So this is just be standard.
Yeah. He going with the solid build. He going with the original one.
The original, the OG.
Soma not even scouting. Soma's so confident in this game that there is no 8 racks, nothing.
Yeah, it could come into what you were talking about earlier. It's best of 1. Are you really going to risk going for an 8 racks versus me? If it was somebody like Shine, like I said, I don't think it matters. He'll still 4-pull you. But Soma confident that there's no 8 racks, and the Overlord is going to get into position.
Do you know the tales that comes with Shine 4-pull is that the guy used to rush so much in the games, and then in the interview he was like, no, I needed to go to the bathroom, so...
Really?
Yeah. So I wanted to finish the game quick.
What a strategy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I mean, if it works out, it works out, right? A win is a win.
Yeah.
You know, I used to get some replays back in the day of Nada playing versus Nal Kiki. He was a former Zerg player that was also on We Made Fox. And Kiki 4-pooled or 5-pooled Nada like 9 games in a row or something. And it got to the point where I don't know what Nada was saying, but I'm sure Nada was pissed. He's like, dude, can we just have, you know, a normal game? That's how often that guy 4-pools or 5-pools. And Shine is also somebody that 4-pools quite often.
Why is mine outside like this with the Marines? Making me nervous. He's making me nervous. I'm not the one playing.
Yeah. If Soma had built 8 lings and you're not paying attention even for just a second, those Marines could go bye-bye real quick. We see that that was not the case. This is just normal. Spire's coming down. Back in Mine's main, though, that is a 2-Rax. And I don't think that this was a super fast academy. I think this was around 330, so he will have potential for an attempted bust, but it's nothing insane. Not
what
like
is that? How did they see me got into the main?
He must have shift moved back onto a mineral patch while he was outside of the main, but it does get in and scouts that it's Spire.
That CB was out like 10 minutes.
I don't know. I personally don't do the shift move, but often I see it in these pro games, and we do have about 7 Marines, maybe 8. Wow, that is a very hidden hatch, but if it gets spotted, that is going to be very hard to defend.
That is going to be so hard to spot, to be honest.
Yeah, if he wants to spot it, he needs to send an SCV out right now. With
By the way, if he got the spot, that base is dead. Like, how do you defend that?
Yeah, it's super dead. Well, that Marine...
the Marine! Got you killed the Marine! My god, he did it!
Well, scan goes off at the natural. Doesn't see anything unusual. That Marine hated his brothers and just wandered off into no man's land and dies instantly. And this is only 1 medic, so this is not a scary army, and mine's just going to turn around already.
Oh, interesting build. Apparently he's going for a fast +1 attack.
Yeah, somewhat fast +1. He's going into a 3rd Rax, probably a 4th Rax pretty soon. If he doesn't, then we're just going to go into a quick factory. May end up going for like a, you know, one of those 10-minute tank timings potentially if we see a factory come up in just a second.
The bunker is a bit late.
Well, it didn't get punished. Those Marines are going to get into the bunker and load up. And the turret timing was great also, so good defense from mine so far.
Yeah, some accumulated mutas, probably going to wait for 7 to be more aggressive. The question is, because Soma is not afraid to go muta all in, he doesn't care. The question is, is Soma going to play something like that or something? Because what the expansion tells me is that he wants to be super aggressive with mutas.
Okay, well, we'll see if that's the case. I'm keeping an eye on the buildings in Soma's main, and it seems like he's put down a hydrogen already. So that could be the follow-up, maybe mass lurkers or fast queens or fast hive if that's actually a queen's nest. Meanwhile, these mutas are being annoying, but really haven't gotten much damage done.
Yeah, mine is going out. He doesn't care.
Yeah, I don't know about this. These are bridges. It's really hard to get Marines across the bridge. The Marine count isn't extraordinary just yet. I think it's just 1.5 groups. So he does have to be very careful. And that is a fast hive.
Yeah, he's missing some mutas to... No, he has the good number now. Wow, that's a lot of Marines going for free.
Yeah, that was a really good catch. Nothing in the bunker, so Soma was not afraid to just trade there. Now, when you see fast hive like this, what do you think this is? Is this Guardians? Guardian Hydra?
This is Guardian. Without expansion, this is Guardians 100%.
Okay, so we're going to be looking for the Guardian Hydra play. So far, the mutas have done a really good job to keep Mind at bay. He keeps scanning the natural, but I'm not sure what he's looking for. He didn't see anything. He still doesn't know where the 3rd base is.
I'm confused. He's still not eating this army.
Oh, he might. Oh, I thought he was going to pick off half of it right there, but... Oh, we're going to have Valkyries. Yep, this army's dead. Nita should pick this off, comboed with the Lings. Maybe not. Reinforcements coming in to save the day.
You say there are Valkyries. Starport is ready?
Yep, Starport is ready. Armory's not ready just yet, but there's the armor upgrade. So that's going to make these Valkyries really not deal that much damage. Armor is so punishing to Valkyries, and especially once the Greater Spire comes in with Guardian Spawn with 2 armor, I think Valkyrie's going to be almost doing no damage at all. So he definitely needs to get a ton of Valkyries if that's what he's going for, and consider +1 weapon on them.
Remember mine did a fast +1, so the 1/1 is also coming, and that could be the dangerous timing for someone here.
And he's still scanning. He at least finds the Greater Spire, but he's still unaware of the 3rd base. He doesn't know that it's right at top right.
Soma almost getting this army.
Yeah, this is 4 racks, and 2-hatch Muta is just keeping Terran at bay the entire time. Terran can't get past the bridges at all. Like, this is just fantastic from Soma. Maybe with the first Valkyrie, he can finally get out into the map.
Why he's not using the Zerglings? Why use the Zerglings?
He still trades so well. He gets so many Marines there.
Valkyrie. Oh, it's a Hydra Guardians wheel.
Yep, Hydra Guardians. The first Valkyrie is out on the map, but if you want to deal with Hydra Guardian with Valkyrie Marine Medic, you just have to have so many Valkyries, it's absurd. He needs, I would say, at least 5 Valkyries to even have a chance, but even that, I'm not sure it was enough.
Terran pushing. Get the Valkyrie.
Oh, it's on. Oh.
Wait. What is?
Mine's out on the map, and I don't think this is going to work. He's way too far forward. Guardians are already out. Hydras are obviously already out. That was really good patrol
He's
micro.
doing good micro. He's doing good micro with the Valkyries.
How'd that fireback get over there? 6 kills. Well,
that can be Zerglings as well, no?
Taking down this... Oh, getting the Hydrogen is huge. Even if he doesn't get the hatch, at least buying time to get more Valkyries out could be fantastic. He's gonna... Oh, he's actually gonna kill almost all the Hydras. Surprisingly, these Marine Medic are doing much better than I anticipated. They're finally gonna get caught here, but getting a decent chunk of the Hydras is great.
And wow, the Valkyries are still alive. This guy, microing this Valkyrie is like Grace.
Oh, and he even has a single Wraith there, but it gets instantly killed. Oh, those Marines do not... Oh, they do get funneled on the bridge a little bit. No, actually not. The Valkyries desperately trying to take down the Guardians, but as the observer points out, those things spawn with 2 armor, and just barely mine's not going to be able to get through.
It is so close. I don't really know if Soma is doing it or mine's actually doing it. There are no drones in the tier base. There are only 3 Guardians and maybe a few Hydras to deal with the Terran army, but Terran is only on 1 Valkyrie and maybe 4 Marines.
Yeah, Terran just doesn't have enough anymore. Zerg still... Oh, maybe not. That's Cloaked Wraith. If he had 2 or 3, maybe he could instantly pop these Guardians, but I think 1 is just a little bit too slow. Regardless, mine has done a really fantastic job to hold on. He's killing off his depots to get him a little bit more surface area. He might actually be able to hold if he goes right now. There's not that many Hydras supporting this.
No. But oh, he's killing his own bunker. Okay, he's going for it.
Yep, here he comes. The Wraiths are getting focused down by these Hydras. The Marines are trying desperately to focus down the Guardians. That's a lot of Marines left over, and somehow Mind actually barely holds this. And look at Soma's supply, Eonzerg. 70 to just 40 right now.
I think Soma just lost the game.
Oh my god.
Wow.
I thought for sure once the Guardians came out that was going to be enough, especially since the Mutas kept tearing back the entire game. But no, he's going to bust the 3rd base, and that's going to put Soma back in the Stone Age. 2 bases, 2 hatches, with Hydra Guardian, with no Hydra upgrades? I don't even know if he has lurkers.
I mean, with all the gas he invested in Guardians and Hydras, I will be really surprised there are lurkers.
Yeah, I don't think he has lurker upgrade at all. If he does, I mean, he just got it. Back in Zerg's main, okay, he does have
there are
lurker upgrade.
lurkers on Defiler.
Defiler, how'd those get out? So actually, Soma not out of it. This may catch Mind off guard. All of his race are out of position. I don't think he has a single vessel, but there's an interception in the center of the map, and he almost gets that Defiler. Oh, he focuses it down. Clutch. And meanwhile, Race in the main are killing all the drones. This could be it. Soma might be eliminated.
There is a huge marine bio going into the center natural.
Look at that.
Kwark is trying to retreat, but not a good position.
He's going to push in here. That's going to allow lurkers in the back to get some damage, but he is breaching the natural. The Boxer split with the Marines. We are moments away from seeing another favorite of the ASL get eliminated. Look at Soma's reaction. There it is. GG.
Man. GG, man. Wow. I told you it's not going to be easy to beat mine. Oh man.
Clearly it's
wow.
not. I can't believe that he was able to hold the Guardian Hydra. Soma killed so many Marines effectively with his mutas, it felt like to me that mine just never had critical mass, but somehow just barely by the skin of his teeth, he ended up having that critical mass.
Well, there was a moment I was like, why is Soma not dealing with this bio? Why he's not eating it? And then when he tried to do it, he lose many mutants. Like there were like two. I recall two situations where like he was like with Serens and mutants, and somehow the trade was not good at all. So yeah, maybe that was like he lose way too many mutants. When it comes to the transition of making Guardians and mutants, he didn't have like a crazy Guardian number, and not either like a mutant support.
Yeah, I guess he killed more than I was expecting. It seemed like they were effective trades to me the majority of the game, but that sets us up for a TVT. We're going to be going into our final game in just a moment, but of course we've got a quick break first. it's now time to get into our final game of the day. Ample versus Mind. Soma already gone. Best out in first place. And we are going to have Vermeer as our final map. Retro was banned by both players.
Oh man, I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. But you know what? It has to be the less expected matchup that we like. I don't think anyone predicted this. Like Mines versus Ample decided match. Wow.
Yeah, Ample and Mind I both like, but I think for sure Soma was a heavy favorite. Also a fan favorite. So it's really unfortunate for him to be eliminated, but both Mind and Ample look quite strong. They both had really good games versus Best, and obviously they had great games versus Soma. So I don't know who to really favor here. Seems like it should be a really good matchup. Ample in TVT, unlike all of his other matchups where he's quite aggressive, he plays more passive in TVT. So I actually expect this game to go quite long. We may have split map scenario. We may be like 30-minute tank BC potentially at some point.
Yeah, very possible because mine is also very solid in TPT. I don't expect him to be cheesing or like doing a super quick rush or anything like that. Especially against Ample, like he's probably like, I'm going to play my best game.
Yep, for sure. And we're getting into our final game right now. And in the bottom left, it is Ample. And in the top right are Red Terran finishing the job versus Soma. It is Mine. So we've got cross spawns here. If anybody goes for Gasless, that would be an ideal for opener for them. It would make it really hard for the opposing player to set up a contain or do any type of pressure play. They of course don't know it's cross spawn, but maybe one of them will luck into that build order. And that is saying that guy's rooting for Mind right there, so is that guy. A lot of Mind fans in the crowd.
The map is Vermeer. I don't think there are many places to build turrets in this map. I'm wrong with that?
Oh yeah, there's not buildable terrain right outside of your natural, but once you get into the middle, there's a decent amount of area in the exact center. But yeah, not a lot of areas to build turrets, so if you're going to go for a contain, your real anti-air has to be an overwhelming amount of Goliaths. And we do have...
So there is like this big chance of getting like a huge drop chip drop with catastrophic damage.
Oh yeah, for some reason we're seeing a lot of dropship play come back into the meta these days, as opposed to players going into mass wraith and trying to bust contains. They're instead going into the older school style of just mega dropping mains and try and go for the killing blows. We do have another forward Rax, just like what we saw in the SOC Haya series. This time it's going to be Ample with the forward Rax.
Yeah, Ample not afraid to do this. He's confident in things.
Yeah, in TVT, you're not really ever scared of...
Not be crazy, but isn't Ample like best matchup TVT?
I'm not sure what his best matchup is. To me, Ample seems pretty even across the board. I think he may have the most wins versus Zerg simply because a lot of times in the past he was doing really fast academy builds and catching Zergs off guard. But I would say he's pretty even in most across the board. I mean, we do have Factory from Mind at 230, and this is going to be a few seconds faster than Ample's, as you can see. 235 for him. Not a huge deal though.
No. So we go from here is just like probably expansion. Don't expect the early starport.
Yep, and we do have...
because no one is mining gas.
Yep, and we do have double SCV scout actually, so Okay, Ample got off the first shot, so he's going to win that battle. But he's going to need to back off. Luckily, okay, he just gets one-shotted by that Marine there. And Ample ended up only building 2 Marines, so it was just a forward Rax. Try and put pressure on a gasless expand, and now he's just going to play normally.
Confused why he's sending back the barrack.
Yeah, I don't know about this barracks play. You don't ever do this. You usually use that to scout with, whether it's sitting over the natural even just to see if vultures move out, or going into the main. It does feel like a misclick, and you can see that it was
a mistake. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. Because you don't build the barrack that far to then send it back.
Yeah, so not sure what exactly happened there, but it's fine. Just a little bit slower than expected. Now I'm looking, and I don't see an add-on for either player. This is going to be a 3rd vulture for Mind. Meanwhile, the 2nd vulture is just now popping for Ample. Will he get an add-on? And the answer is yes, and that means if Mind goes with his 2 Marines and 3 vultures, because he had the faster factory also, he may be able to get some damage done. That's, of course, if he attacks.
I think he's going for it.
Wow, that's going to be...
That's actually... Or maybe he's just playing defensive, I don't know.
Yeah, he's in the darkness right now, so he is playing defensive. Now he's going to start moving out, and Ample just spent all of his money on a 3rd factory, so he has the add-on, but not able to get any upgrade just yet. You have...
Yeah, it's a very similar game from both sides. It's almost like they're playing with vision.
Yeah, and the 3rd factory also going up for mine, so we have almost mirrored builds from both sides. A slight supply advantage for Mind right now. I think that's simply in just 1 additional Marine, 1 additional SCV, and that should be an armory. So unlike in the SOC Haya series, Mind would not be caught off guard if there were raids coming. I don't think there is an armory in Ample's main, so this is just going to be pure vulture for him.
So it is going to get to the point of like maybe 12 vultures fights. Is that possible?
Well, I don't know if there's really a certain number of vultures that you automatically attack with.
Oh, the barra missed the... Wait, he saw one. He saw 1 vulture.
Yeah, he just barely saw 1. And if Ample ever thinks, or Mind ever thinks, that they have a vulture lead, they will go for it. As soon as they see 1 tank, they may end up going for it. Because, of course, tanks can buffer a lot of damage, but they take a long time to build. So you're going to have an overwhelming vulture count, in theory.
No, man, you can see this game is so important. They are chilling. They are not really committing, trying to not make mistakes. It's like, at some point I was like, you know what, maybe mine is going to go for it because he's like the more experienced player. He's going to try to force mistakes. But no, he's like, I'm chilling. I'm going with the starport.
Yeah, starport in the back of the base may not get scouted, so there could be a scenario where if they do have a trade, a single Wraith could be the difference maker, just barely having a little bit more DPS. We do have the rack still not spotting it. The way that Marine, by the way, is able to just constantly attack that Rax, he's probably patrolled the Marine. You can do that. It'll follow it forever. So that rack should die eventually. Oh, maybe not. I'm looking at that armory of Mind. No +1 weapon upgrade anytime, but we do see the first few tanks for Mind, so he may be looking to make a move out pretty soon. The most shocking thing to me is there's no mines out on the map just yet, anywhere, from either side.
Yeah, I asked myself if Ample is going to make a dropship or just like go Grace.
Yeah, I guess it could be drops, but there's no add-on. I'm sure he's using it now. There's mines.
Man.
Finally laying some... Oh, 3 vultures snuck around. They went basically undetected, but there is still defense in position.
There's so much army, yeah.
He is actually going to get away. I can't believe those ended up surviving, at least for now. Meanwhile, Mind, he needs
to be careful. He doesn't want to really like face a huge army from mine.
Well, even though Ample's army is only vultures, surprisingly, vultures are quite strong, even if mines don't connect at all. So mine does need to be careful. Also, he's not sure where all the mines were placed from Ample, so if he missteps, he could trigger one, and boom, all of his tanks or Goliaths could go down the drain. We do have a fast command center from both sides. I think slightly faster for Mind, but somehow Ample's supply is shot up over 15 above Mind.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's a supply block, or I don't know what it is exactly. But I feel like Ample is playing like like so aggressive right now with his vultures and trying to go like very far with his mines.
Yeah, I'm getting flashbacks to the Barrack Sharp game where Sharp had 1 billion vultures, but Barracks had more tanks, like an overwhelming amount of tanks. And if Mind is able to get across the map, this is so much of a tank advantage that I think he could
nice
set up a
scout. That vulture is the MVP. Hello, dropship.
Yep, hello,
See you
dropship.
soon.
And that means that he shouldn't take any damage to this. So well done for him. Meanwhile, Wraith gonna try and draw the attention to the natural, but of course Mine's not gonna fall for that.
No, Mine, he has so many siege tanks. Like all he needs to defend his dropship is just some vultures in the main.
Yep, and that's exactly what he has. Also a Goliath, so that got pushed back very easily. Both players taking their third base at essentially the same time. See more factories going up for both sides, going up to 5 for Mine. Meanwhile, just 4 for Ample. But the tank count is now starting to get more and more even.
Yeah, it's going to be like I had the feeling it's going to be a really long game, a game of control, a game of expansions, a game of who makes the mistakes with the siege lines.
Well, Ample has gone unscouted on the left side of the map. If he can swoop around, look how far forward Mine's tanks are. Completely out of position, at least right now.
Yeah, but Nyoken, there's so many mines that it's not going to be easy for him to know, like it's like that. I don't think that like it's such a problem for Mine.
Yeah, also Mine quick on the gun. He'll be able to unsiege and re-siege with the Mine for vision. Also, I think he has 3 tanks on the top side of the map to see an there they are. To see an incoming attack. So both players are just content sitting on their side of the map for now. We do see science facility for Mine, so that means his +2 is going to be starting pretty soon.
Oh, that Goliath for free.
That's going to be a lot of factories for Ample. So we may be going into something like 8 factories. Vultures have snuck to the left side.
Oh, it's open. The natural is open for Ample, and it's going to get damaged.
Yep, going to rack up a lot of SCV kills here. Really nicely done to find that angle, but a drop at the natural, evening up the score is Ample. Drop is going to get taken out by this Wraith though, but both sides really dealing a decent chunk of damage to the SCV lines.
That was nice. It was like, okay, I'm going to get damage in my tier, no problem. I'm going to your national.
Yeah, I like that move. And we do have more repositioning in the center of the map. Ample has slightly... is he gonna bust? He's gonna bust?
There is not enough. Yeah.
Well, this is dangerous because there's
tanks in the high ground.
Yeah,
there are tanks in the high ground.
Tanks on the high ground are gonna do so much damage, but he's plowing through. There's not that many tanks. You can see Mind has unsieged those tanks at the top side to reposition towards the center. But those tanks on the high ground at the right side, they did work. Oh no.
They did. Imagine there are no tanks. Like, we could be in a very dangerous position for Mine.
Oh yeah, if there were no tanks, that third base may have been killed off or lifted at least. We do have a 4th base going up for both players. Did notice in Ample's third base that he still hasn't resaturated that base, and half of his SCVs there aren't mining, so he desperately needs to fix that ASAP.
By the way, Ample is spending quite a bit right now.
Yeah, also I noticed that Ample doesn't have +1 weapon yet, so I'm worried that he's focusing on building a ton of stuff, but he's going to miss the critical +2 weapon upgrade. We do have a drop at mid left also, so that base is going to get shut down. Maybe not.
Orochi from Mine going to the tier.
Oh, right in position. But I think this has vultures in it, so it is just going to unload in the main and Try and get as many SCVs as possible. There's the second armory, but you can see that the first one still not spinning. So +2 is going to be considerably far behind mine's +2 weapon timing.
Yeah. So far, I will say that mine is playing a really solid game. I feel like his map control, his suspension control is like really good so far.
Yeah, and anytime I see a vessel come out on the map in the TVT, you know you're playing a good player, because nobody uses Matrix in TVT except for great players. So we may have a bust from Mind in just a second. He's up 15 supply. His +2 weapon upgrade should be kicking in pretty soon, which is a massive power spike. Nope, instead he's just gonna siege in the center of the map. He's got his 5th base up and running just like Ample does. So both players just content with repositioning over and over while taking bases.
Yeah, it's funny because they are trying to punish positions, and mine now is able to do it.
Well, this is gonna get awkward. We've got a counterattack in the center while Mind is pushing the 3rd base, and both players have avoided each other's armies. So top middle is gonna get denied, but Mind's gonna deny mid left and the 3rd base.
Yeah, I mean it's base by base per base, but
Oh, no.
Wait, what?
He's not gonna deny top middle. There's vultures there, but SCVs could easily get back into position. I think tanks are actually gonna clean that up also. So right now, Mind has eliminated 2 bases where technically Ample's only eliminated 1.
No, he didn't even eliminate it. It's
He's
just
not.
by a delay.
He hasn't eliminated that. Those vultures didn't do as much damage as I thought. Actually, SCVs did way better than I anticipated. There's still about a 20 supply lead for Mind right now.
Oh, wow.
There's that raid. SE raid. These tanks are gonna have to leave now.
Well, it's only one. Like, it can take forever to take out 7 tanks.
Yeah, that is true, but there's no escape for these tanks. So this one Wraith is gonna get 7 tank kills. There's the Matrix that I was talking about. Really good focus fire there. Takes down 2 or 3 tanks in an instant.
Yeah, it's so chaotic how like Ample put this army in the mid, and now mine has like his army also split in the other side of the map and can do anything.
Yeah, Ample really needs to re-land that 3rd base though. He would have a econ advantage if he can land that base, but there is so much stuff for Mind, and this time around he should be able to end this mid-left base. Ample's in trouble because he knows that he needs to save mid-left, but he wants to attack at the same time. When you get into this particular scenario, it snowballs really quickly. So I think Mind is slowly taking advantage of this game.
Well, right now he's taking out this suspension.
That's a drop. That has to be a drop.
Ample is full?
It's gotta be. Oh,
yeah.
But there's so many tanks. I think Mind's done it. Oh no, Ample, he's gonna lose mid-left, and his 3rd base is still lifted, so he's on basically 1 base mining right now. Meanwhile, Mind's still on 4 base mining. He's gonna push the center now and start breaching bottom middle in a second. This is such a dire situation for Ample. He needs to get control of the game quickly.
No, he's allowed to cover, and he doesn't have the units to cover.
Oh, Mind's so quick. He sieges up on the high ground. D-Matrix would be fantastic here for him, but that's a great focus fire from Ample. He desperately needs to hold this position. Looks like Mind's not reinforcing this particular spot as fast as I thought he was. So this will get held, and somehow I see mid-left was saved.
Yeah, at the moment it's still kicking.
By the way,
it's not denied to that.
By the way, Eonzerg, that one Wraith, he's still alive. He's still killing those tanks, man.
What is he?
Right there. He's killed 4 of the 6 tanks.
Yeah, but it takes so long. Like, but wow, Ample with the draw chips, not cleaning the tanks.
Yeah, it's not enough tanks, and mine just.
And they're now going in the mix.
Yeah, and mine happened to reinforce at that exact moment, so this base gets breached again.
It's possible.
Ample needs to stabilize while also attacking mid right. This game is slowly getting way too far out of his control. This is a 50 supply lead now, 170 to 121. I like this Vulture counterattack. The tanks are not sieged, so he might actually get something.
Here.
He might actually get
something.
Here,
Nyoken.
Yeah, that's a good counterattack. He needs something like this to buy him time. Those mines did a lot of damage. Oh! I thought those were actually Ample's mines all stacked up. So no actual kills on the tanks, but he does get some SCVs.
That's good eco damage. And if I'm not mistaken, mine right now is on 2 bases, or maybe 3 bases. I don't know how healthy is the natural still.
3-2 upgrades for mine, so heavy armor is going to really nullify any race switch if they ever come. We've got drops moving to the right side. Ample, it got scanned.
Ample going to put pressure to bottom mid.
He needs to get on top of this high ground to help try and deny this push. There's just so many tanks for mine. D-Matrix would be amazing. There is one of them, but there's not enough tanks in range to actually kill anything. Double D-Matrix.
Yeah, but I don't think he can actually that's 6 siege tanks. That's not easy to kill.
Yeah, it's not easy
That's
to
a lot
kill,
of splash.
but with reinforcements, he might be able to.
There's even a drop.
Yeah, there's drops here, but there's just so much on the ground for mine. It's a 70 supply lead. He's now swooping into the 3rd base to try and knock that down. It's so hard for Ample to manage where to have his dropships at all the time. There's 3 tanks in position. Great unload here. A lot of Vultures going to soak up shots also. This was clutch defense from Ample.
Yeah, need to chill because this is a big commitment.
Somehow Ample's gotten bottom right command center started to be built over there, so if he can split the map in that direction, he doesn't necessarily need mid left right now, but definitely needs to get bottom right up and running.
By the way, mine with the top left expansion.
Yep, he's gonna have top left himself, and this base does get denied in an instant cancel. Ample really feeling the pressure now. Oh no, the Goliaths are right there! He does manage to unload one of the tanks, but really good D-Matrix from mine. There's still not a lot of tanks. Oh, he actually has dropships himself, so he's gonna counter. Oh, there's so many Goliaths and so many tanks here. Still a lot of tanks from Ample.
Yeah. Way too many. That's a lot of a splash.
Yeah, that is more splash than I thought it was. So mine still not able to find the opening he's looking for to end this game. Now that he has drops, I've got my eye on bottom middle, how there's no turrets there. A Doom drop there could seal the victory for him. He's done a good job with turrets at his mid bases, so really no counter drop potential for him. Saw scan go at top left, so Ample may be thinking about trying to drop that position.
I think what matters right now in this game is that I mean the placement for mine is just like way better. Map control is way better. Like the lines are so in the offensive that it will take a long time for Ample to really like to do anything.
Yep. And
not only that, mine is being the aggressor.
Yep, Doom drop on the high ground. Tanks are scrambling to get into position, but slowly but surely, Ample losing ground. That's not a lot of tanks anymore. It's 3 tanks versus a ton of Goliaths with tanks to support, and he's finally got into position where he can start knocking down this bottom base.
Well, that is the most healthy expansion for Ample. Losing this is almost like hitting all Ample economy because the team been running for a long time already.
Yep, and all the dropships die also. So now he has to, in order to defend this base, run into the tanks, and that's it. Mind. He is going to be our 2nd place finisher out of Group C.
GG, man.
Yeah, there were moments
solid
there.
Game.
Yeah, really
solid game by. Yeah, go on.
Really good play from both sides. There were moments where ample supply was so high, I thought he may be able to take an engagement in the center of the map, but the positioning from Mind and reinforcements was just way too good.
Yeah, somehow, it's funny enough, the slowest APM player was the one dealing with chaos better, and it was Mine, and like he was more decisive with his attacks. Like Amber was trying to do the same that Mine was doing, but then he just like he was not able to really like complete the task.
Yeah, that effective APM coming into play. I'm thinking, you know, that big attack Ample did in the middle where he tried to bust with a huge amount of ultras and tanks, but those high ground tanks from Mine got so many kills. I'm wondering if that was the difference maker, because it always felt like afterwards Mine just had way more tanks than Ample ever had. Of course, shutting down those two bases helped a lot, but that could have been the difference maker, that one misstep allowing Mine to snowball out of control.
I remember that. Like first I thought like, yeah, he's taking this easy. But then when do you see the tanks in the high ground, that's a big game changer.
Yeah, they were super cost effective, and Mind, who we haven't seen in a few seasons, he's back and he's making it into the round of 16. So that gives us 3 Terrans, 1 Zerg, and 2 Protoss. So just like in the qualifiers, Terran's still dominating this ASL.
Man, it's funny. They promote this season like the season to take down the Terrans, but so far, I mean, Jean Raynor is going super strong.
Yeah, so far the Terrans are really delivering. You know, in what was it, Group A? Haya, yes, he was eliminated, but another Terran had to do it, right? So Terran's really living up to their reputation, at least so far in this ASL.
Nice, and they're doing it against people that consider these days the best in the world, like Mini, like Soma.
Yeah, Mini already gone. I still can't believe about that Soma game. He's gone too. Arguably somebody that you're thinking may actually win the championship this season because of how well he had been playing, but out in the round of 24, such a disappointing performance for him. Best looks surprisingly strong. His PVT, you know, he's a monster. He makes the angles work, and he crushed.
Hell, but with Mini, I can't help it, but with Mini and Soma out, I'm thinking already that this is Bisu season. It has to be.
You're still on the Bisu train, huh? You think he's going to be that dominant?
Yeah, it has to be. Like, if Bisu doesn't take this opportunity, I forget about Bisu winning an ASL. It has to be the season.
Well, we're only into the round of 24. We still have our seeded players in the round of 16, which can't remember exactly who they are, but they're super strong. Somebody like Rush, Royal, Soulkey potentially in there. We still need to see how effective Bisu can be versus those players. Of course, Bisu's got the chops to do it, but those players are super strong also.
Yeah. Well, it could be a snow season as well. Or maybe even a Jadon season. Imagine that.
Jadong season, that would make my year. I would love to see the return of Jadong. I don't know about that. He's really good, but players have gotten so good that I don't know if he'll be able to take it. I would love it though. What I noticed when you said snow, it could be snow season, guys, is I noticed that Bisu and Snow, they're both Protoss players. You seem to have a lot of hope in the Protoss race this season.
No, I'd say a snow season just because it sounds cool.
Okay.
No, I'm not. Actually, I prefer Bisu to win the whole thing. Like, I think also could be a really good season for Soulkey, in my opinion. But you know what? That is the fun of this ASL, is that there is still a round 16 waiting for Royal, Rush, Soulkey, and Hero, and that is a lot of power.
Yeah, and I agree with the Sulky statement. You know, every single season, I think to myself, this could be Sulky season. He always does very well versus Terran. He always does very well versus Protoss. When they have interviews with Queen, Queen talks about how weak Sulky Zerg versus Zerg is, but then he always delivers in Zerg versus Zerg, too. So maybe this could be his season. I would also like to see Hero make it to the finals and get a victory, because every season he also looks very dominant, especially in Zerg versus Terran.
No, I think I really think Hero is the one that is going to have the most troubles against Terran.
Oh yeah. Okay.
In my opinion, if you compare Hero's CBT to Sulky CBT or Soma CBT, it's like weaker.
Okay, well, I guess.
But there is you know what we didn't mention? There is Zero also in this ASL.
Indeed, he's always there, man. There's so many good Zergs still left, even with Soma being eliminated. And we're getting a rundown of how today went. Well, I guess we missed it, but Soma being eliminated is quite shocking. And we can see the seeds right now. Royal and Rush, the Terrans, and then Sulky and Hero, as you stated. Sock, Barracks, and Mind also rounding out the Terran. Action making it into the round of 16. That was impressive from him in Group A. And of course, Bisu and Best for the Protoss players.
Yeah. It's shaping to be a good ASL. So big names out early on, but there is so much. There is Light still has to play his group as well. You know, Light, he looked so dominant against Protoss. That ASL season he won, so it's just, I mean, it's going to be really hard to be the season of, you know.
Yeah, and our next group is going to be Group D, which is on Sunday, and there is Snow and Jaedong in there, two favorites for the group. But Bishop, he's no joke. He's a very strong player that can play all the races, and we talked about it earlier. Shuttle lately looks really freaking good. Meanwhile, Group E
Bicho is no joke. Bicho is no joke. Imagine Bicho qualified for ASL eliminating Jaedong. That's how he made it to the ASL.
That's how he made it to ASL, into this group?
Yeah.
Damn, so they got a revenge match going on. Potentially. That would be exciting to see. See if Bishop can knock out Jaedong again, or if Jaedong will get revenge. And the group I'm looking most forward to is, of course, the last one. It has Light in there. There's high expectations for Light. He's the go-to guy in the Terran race. He's been, I don't know if coaching is the right word, but guiding a lot of Terrans. So there's high expectations for him, just like there were high expectations for Soma. I hope he doesn't have the downfall that Soma had, but that's a strong group. JYJ strong, Stork strong. Can't remember who the last, oh, it was Soxry. And Soxry always is dangerous in any ASL I see him playing.
That guy is super dangerous, especially in a best of one. That guy is super dangerous.
Yeah, I think he even beat Flash in either the qualifiers or one of the ASLs. Maybe didn't eliminate Flash, but I remember him taking a game off of Flash. But that is going to be it for us today, guys. We're going to be wrapping up in just a second as soon as the casters give us the signal. And we'll be back.
Sunday we're coming back, and it's going to be Jaedong, Bishop, who else?
Snow. And who was the last one? I already forget.
Shuttle,
of course.
Okay, it's going to be a fun group.
Yeah, I really want to see also Shuttle versus Snow, because even though it's PvP, they both have insane shuttle control, especially Snow. Like, his Reavers are unreal. I think that could be an exciting PvP. And if it's a revenge match of Bishop versus Jaedong, even though I really like Jaedong quite a bit, I would love to see Bishop pull out another victory versus Jaedong, like consolidate and say, yeah,
no,
I'm the real deal.
Bro, you are killing ASL viewers doing that. You need to keep the Jaedong, bro.
Well, you know, he's the tyrant for a reason. He may come back with a vengeance and say, nope, that was a fluke, sir. Now that we're in the real tournament, you're gonna bow down to me, and I'm gonna eliminate you.
Yeah, for sure. Oh my God! Please don't even say that.
Okay, I won't ever
Yeah,
say
don't
bad
come
things about Jade on
eliminate.
the show.
Oh my God!
All right, well, looks like Caster Park is finally gonna sign us off. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back on Sunday with Group D.
Bye bye.